World famous economist Paul Krugman has said that China has just taken over the United States and it's never going to be reversed. Much of this, he says, is due to Donald Trump's policies, which are putting America behind in a way that has never happened before. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. YouTube's new algorithm means that you're often not getting all of our videos in your feed. There's 7,500. I'm pretty sure you're probably not seeing a lot of them. In the description, there is a link to our newsletter. Click on that and you can get an update every day of all the latest news in the electric car industry. Paul Krugman has just written a very powerful piece here, which you need to hear about. He says China has overtaken America and Trump's policies guarantee that the US will never catch up. In 1957, the Soviet Union put the first man-made satellite, Sputnik, into orbit. The US response was close to panic. The Cold War was at its coldest, and there were widespread fears that the Soviets were taking the lead in science and in technology. In retrospect, those fears were overblown. When communism fell, we learned that the Soviet economy was far less advanced than many had believed. Still, the effects of this Sputnik moment were salutary. America poured resources into science and higher education, helping to lay foundations for enduring leadership. Well, that is until now anyway. Today, American leadership is once again being challenged by an authoritarian regime. And in terms of economic might, China is a much more serious rival than the Soviet Union ever was. Some readers were skeptical when I pointed out, says Krugman, on Monday that China's economy is in real terms already substantially larger than ours, than the US economy. The truth is that GDP at purchasing power parity is a very useful measure, but if it seems too technical, how about just looking at electricity generation, which is strongly correlated with economic development? As the chart at the top, or the chart you're seeing here, shows, China now generates well over twice as much electricity as the US does. And, well, a lot more of that is renewables. Yet rather than having another Sputnik moment, we are now trapped in a reverse Sputnik moment. Rather than acknowledging that the US is in danger of being permanently overtaken by China's technological and economic prowess, the Trump administration is slashing support for scientific research and attacking education, attacking renewables, attacking EVs, attacking solar, attacking wind, attacking the future. In the name of defeating the bogeyman of wokeness and the deep state, this administration is actively opposing progress in critical sectors while giving grifters like the crypto industry everything that they want. The most obvious example of Trump's war on a critical sector, and the most consequential for the next decade, is his vendetta against renewable energy. Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, which is the most ridiculous name in history, rolled back Biden's tax incentives for renewable energy. The administration is currently trying to kill a huge, newly completed offshore wind farm that could power hundreds of thousands of homes, as well as cancel $7 billion in grants for residential solar panels. It appears to have succeeded in killing the largest solar project in American history that would have powered around 2 million homes in Nevada. It has cancelled $8 billion in clean energy grants, mostly in Democratic states, and is reportedly planning to cancel tens of billions more. While Trump proclaims drill baby drill, projected growth in US solar and wind power has been stunted, and perhaps even stalled by the administration's clear hostility. In his rambling speech at the United Nations, which was truly nonsensical, even if you're a Trump fan, you can't argue otherwise, Trump insisted that China isn't making use of wind power. They use coal, they use gas, they use almost anything, but they don't like wind. I don't know where Trump gets this ridiculous misinformation. Maybe the same sources telling him that Portland is in flames. But here's the reality. Chris Wright, Trump's energy secretary, says that solar power is unreliable. You have to have power when the sun goes behind a cloud and when the sun sets, which it does almost every night, he said. So the energy secretary of the most technologically advanced nation on earth, or which used to be the most technologically advanced, is unaware of the energy revolution being propelled by dramatic technological progress in batteries. Completely unaware. And the revolution is happening now in the US, in places like California, in places like Texas, in many countries all over the world. Here's what electricity supply looked like during an average day in California back in June. What is the source of this breathtaking ignorance and hostility to progress? What is it? It's natural to blame fossil fuel interests for the attacks on renewables and climate science. Moreover, Krugman says we should not forget that Trump is an incredibly petty man who hates the sight of offshore wind turbines from his Scottish golf course. But neither of those factors explain the administration's crusade against vaccines or the attacks on research and learning in many other areas. Closely related is Pete Hegseth's embrace of stupidity. Sorry, I mean the warrior ethos, as the key to military strength. This ignores the realities of 21st century warfare currently visible to anyone paying attention to the war in Ukraine. On a modern battlefield dominated by drones and precision artillery fire, tough guy posturing is worse than useless. Special interests and Trump's pettiness aside, my sense is that there's something more visceral going on. A powerful faction in America has become deeply hostile to science and any kind of expertise in general. It makes them feel small. As evidence, consider the extraordinary collapse in Republican support for higher education over the past decade. Yet the truth is that hostility to science and expertise have always been part of the American tradition. Remember what your history lesson on the Scopes monkey trial? It told a Supreme Court ruling as recently as 2007 to stop politicians from forcing public schools to teach creationism. And with the current Supreme Court, who can be sure creationism won't return? Anti-scientism is a widespread attitude on the religious right, which forms a key component of MAGA. In past decades, however, the forces of humanism and scientific inquiry were able to prevail against anti-scientism. In part, this was due to the recognition that American science was essential for national security as well as national prosperity. But now we have an administration that claims to be protecting national security by imposing tariffs on kitchen cabinets and bathroom vanities while gutting the CDC and forcing the EPA to do its bidding while also gutting the EPA. Does this mean that the US is losing the race with China for global leadership? No, that race is essentially over. Even if Trump and his team of saboteurs lose power in 2028, everything I see says that by then, America will have fallen so far behind that it's unlikely that we will ever catch up. The Sydney EV International Motor Show. If you want to get a 50% discount on your tickets, all you got to do, click the link in the description and use the promotion code that's in the description. Just copy and paste that. Now, I should mention there's only 200 tickets available per day. So if you go to use the promo code and you can't get a ticket, wait till the next day. Don't wait until the day before the show to get your tickets, because otherwise you'll probably miss out on getting the 50% discount.